Hey there, buddy. It's Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend, back again. And if you've been watching my content recently, which many of you have, so thank you so much, I decided and realized that in all of these book reviews that I've done in the Bookie Babe series here on the channel, I never actually defined for you guys my criteria for rating books. So that's what we're going to do in tonight's video. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend. You can follow me on Instagram as well at your geeky girlfriend, same as it is here with the underscore and everything. Over on Instagram, instead of doing YouTube shorts, I do Instagram reels, so you can find a lot more like fashion content, just little silly videos over there. Here is where I put all of my longer videos, and all of my more like meaty, beefy content is over here on the YouTube channel. And if you haven't already found my Instagram, then I encourage you to go check it out over there. The Instagram is more fashion, frugal fashion, thrifting, all that stuff. I'm kind of going through a shift over there. But here on the YouTube channel is where we really dive in with books and movies and TV, arts and crafts, like all the things. So if you like any of those things, hit that red button and subscribe. But let's go ahead and get into tonight's video. So we're going to go over my criteria for rating books. I have been using Goodreads now for, I believe, 2 full years. I think I technically started using Goodreads like in 2022, but then in 2023 was like my first reading challenge. So I discovered Goodreads like November, December, I think, of 2022. Anyway, and I've been reviewing and rating books over there. I also use Storygraphs and rate and review books over there, but I even rate and review books here on YouTube. You guys know this because you're here on the channel, but I never actually sat down and said, these are my criteria. If I give a book 1 star, this is what it means. If I give a book 5 stars, this is what it means. So we're going to do that today. And it might be a little, a little too late, as they say, but better late than never. And if you're new here, you can watch this video and then go back and really go through the rest of my ratings and reviews. And from now on, I'm recording this on August 13th, 2024. I'm 28 books in for the year. My goal was 24, so I'm really happy with that. And I've read 4 nonfiction books, so I only have 2 more to read to meet that goal. So I'm overall smashing it in the reading goals department. But from now on, I will be trying to be consistent with my criteria so that way all of my books meet the same standard. I do already have a video up here on the channel called Let's Talk About Spice, and I have the little spicy peppers, and I talk all about the spicy romance genre and how I rate those books. I also have a video about how I rate thriller and horror books, so you can check that one out as well. But we're just going to talk about regular run-of-the-mill reviews. So when I rate a review, and when I write a review for Goodreads especially, it has to be out of a 1 to a 5. And Storygraphs does let you do half stars, and apparently Fable lets you do half stars as well. But I always write my most detailed reviews on Goodreads. So I'm working with a 1 to 5 scale. Here on YouTube, when I review books, I usually will equate that scale to a 10. So if a book gets a 3 stars, I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. It's very average. If a book gets a 5 stars, it's a 10 out of 10. I'm going to talk about this book. But anyway, we're going to talk about all of that. But that's kind of how the 5-star thing came into play. And because of that, everything else that I rate and review is also out of 5. So it was 5 peppers for spicy. If it's 5 out of 5, this is what you're going to get. Thriller, it was a level 5 or a level F, 5 stars for freaky. So everything is out of a 5-point scale. So starting off, if a book gets a 1 star, you can see there's no color, there's no enjoyment. Here, there's no joy. And that's essentially it. I finished it, but either I almost didn't, I wish I didn't, or I'm not sure why I did. Now, if you're new here, I am a completist. Once I start a book, I almost have to finish it. It is the one aspect of my perfectionism that has not quite exited my mindset yet. I'm doing really well with everything else. I'm learning to be more flexible. I'm letting go of rigid routines. I took a new job that's going to be more flexible and allow that flexibility to flourish and allow the creativity to kind of be what it is and be expressed in other ways. But I am a completist. I have to finish puzzles. I have to finish games. I have to like see things through to the end. TV shows, very similar. I have a very similar attitude about TV shows and movies. I could put a movie in, and if I am not loving it in 30 minutes in, I would rather just sit there distractedly on my phone than actually actively watch the movie. TV shows are the same way. Like, I'll use How I Met Your Mother for an example because I recently was reminded that I watched this series again, and all the way through the series, I genuinely just thought it was okay. Like, there were not big moments that I was like, oh my gosh, I really love that. Oh my gosh, I really love this. The Office was similar. I know, come at me. But I never, like, was one of those people who connected with The Office, but I watched the whole dang series. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. You're not a completist unless you have these attitudes, okay? Books are very similar. There have only been 2 books in my entire life that I have picked up and put them down because I couldn't read them. And you know what I did? Several years later, I picked them up and I read them. And I was able to finish them and I enjoyed them. So I think it was just a lack of maturity on my part. But now as an adult, now that all my brain processes are fully developed, I have a hard time doing that. And an example of this would be Ordinary Grace, which I read a couple of, probably 4 or 5 weeks back. I read Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger, and I gave a terrible review. And I felt bad about giving a terrible review, but everybody has their own opinion, right? And I literally almost put that book down 3 times because I did not want to read it. I was so bored, but you know what I did? I read it, and I finished it. So don't consider yourself a completist unless you too struggle with this issue. I'm a completist, therefore I have to finish every book that I start. Even if I don't love it, it's going to get, if I finished it but didn't want to, it's going to get a 1 star. Okay? That's where the 1-star books come in. 1 star is reserved for those books that I, did not enjoy at all. Those are the 1 stars. If it is super slow to get into, if it takes me a long time to read it, if I am bored, if I don't like one of the topics present. Now, if I were to truly read a book that really, really upset me, like if it had a topic that I was just absolutely not, that I didn't agree with, that might be the catalyst for me to put it away, is I just don't want to support this book. But on the flip side, I talk a lot on this channel about how anti-book banning I am and the power of literacy. And so I still probably would finish it and then just give it a poor review and let people know the trigger warnings and that it upset me and blah, blah, blah. So I still feel like I would finish it. Let's move on. 1-star books are books that I almost didn't finish or didn't want to finish, but felt compelled because of my personality. Those are the 1 stars, okay? So if a book has a 1-star rating for me, I was most likely just very bored. Or I didn't just wanted to put it down, questioned why I was reading it the entire time. If a book has any sort of redeeming quality, it's going to get a 2-star from me. Look, these 2 little baby stars. It's going to get a 2. So a book that is boring, but has a very climactic ending or a surprise ending, or if it starts off really strong and then has a really slow bit in the middle where it's and then comes back up again where I'm just taking, I can only read a few pages at a time before I fall asleep, that sort of thing. But I think there were pieces of it that I liked, or I read it all the way through and it might have been a quick read, but I didn't like it. An example of this would be If You Tell by Greg Olson. I just read that a few weeks ago and I did not like it. I did not like what I was reading. I was very disturbed by the whole thing. I gave it a 2 stars because I read it quickly and it was a true story, but I did not like it. But I didn't question not reading it like I would have if it was a 1 star. And that was a book that I probably should have put down, and some people in my book club didn't read it for that reason. But I started it, so I finished it, but it only got a 2 star for me. Like I said, there has to be one, if it even has a minute redeeming quality. Maybe I liked one of the characters, or I really liked the epilogue or the prologue, and that made the whole book worth it for me. Something like that. Something very small where as I was reading the book, I was like, man, this is boring. Man, this is slow. Man, but oh my gosh, but the ending, like you have to read it like you have to finish it. This is the 2-star. If you say, but you have to finish it, it's 2. It's a 2-star. Like I said, all it needs is one redeeming quality and it's going to get a 2-star, because I do feel bad about giving books 1 star. Like, I feel badly about that, but I feel like it's going to happen. Like, there are going to be books that you just genuinely don't like for whatever reason, and that is okay. We're moving on to 3 stars. 3-star reads. Look, we've got bigger stars. They're all in harmony. They look great. 3 stars. This book, if a book has 3 stars, it let me down in a small way. Maybe the character that I really liked made a poor decision. Or maybe I was wrong about the ending. That's typically why I'll give something 3 stars. Like, if all the clues are pointing to one character and then it ends up being somebody else, like in a murder mystery or something, and then I'm mad at myself for not getting it right, that's going to be a 3-star. Something like that. So, like, I get a little self-righteous, and the more thrillers and murder mysteries I read, I feel like, oh yeah, I got this. I know who it is. And then I don't. 3-star. But it's good, not great. What I always say about 3-star books is it was a very solid, okay book. Very solid, okay book. Like, not great, but it wasn't bad. Like, I enjoyed myself reading it. Might have been a pretty quick read, but there just wasn't anything, like, stellar about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are your average books. If a book gets a 3-star, that's average for me. Very solid, okay book. It might have a great plot, but poor character development, or vice versa. Like, it has really, really strong character development, but a very, very poor written plot, or no plot, or something, a very predictable plot could also get something 3 stars, or a massive plot hole that, like, does not get resolved. Again, like, something about this book disappointed me for whatever reason. Maybe it just, like, I could say this about The Teacher by Freida McFadden. It was not what I was expecting at all. So, like, this book might have landed in the 3-star range, because it took a totally, now, it was not, it was definitely a 5-star book, but you know what I mean, like, maybe, they say you can't judge a book by its cover, and it's very true. However, we all do it. We all get a kind of synopsis in our head of what we think the book is going to be about, and then when it takes a turn that we weren't expecting, sometimes that's disappointing. So for whatever reason, this book was just very solid, okay. Like, yeah, well written, good characters, yeah. Maybe questionable plot. Maybe questionable character decisions. Maybe something sad happened and I wasn't expecting that. Or maybe something scary happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, this book just had one thing about it disappointed me. But it's still a good book. Like, would I recommend it to other people? Probably. Or if somebody asked me, if a book gets 3 stars, if somebody asks me, hey, what did you think of this book? It was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. That's 3 stars. Okay, now we have 4 stars. Big fat 4 stars. Okay? 4 stars. Great. I have no complaints about this book. If a book gets 4 stars, it is a good book. Very solid, okay? Good. If I tell you it was good. How was that book? It was really good. I liked it. This is a 4 star. Okay? 4-star book. It might have been a little bit predictable. Like, for example, The Hating Game, The Real Deal. Those were 2 books that I just recently rated. I rated The Hating Game 4 stars because it was a little bit more spicy. So, anyway, I would say that was a good book. But it was predictable. You knew what was going to happen. It was very typical rom-com. So it was predictable. Or maybe it was surprising or unexpected, but not necessarily in a good way. Like, maybe the character did something at the very end that I was like, oh, really? Why'd you have to do that? Particularly if it's a book that is not a romance book, but there is a romance between 2 of the characters, and then the characters break up in the end. This is going to be a 4 star for me. Like, if I have this relationship building between these 2 characters, and then the author just says they're going to break up, that's going to go in the 4 stars because I'm not going to be uber pleased with that, right? So perhaps it is a new genre. Like maybe it's my first time reading a horror book, and so I don't want to like throw the 5 stars out there because there might be better ones. I might play it safe and give it a 4. Fantasy, for example, I gave Fourth Wing a 4-star rating because it was my first fantasy book, and Iron Flame might be better or it might be worse. I don't know. But I gave Fourth Wing a 4 stars because I didn't think I was going to like it, but because it was fantasy, I felt I couldn't give it a 5 because I skipped most of the fantasy parts. So like this is what we're talking about in the 4-star. Or perhaps sometimes I give books 4 stars just because it's January or February and I know I'm going to read a bunch of other books, and if I give a book a 5, it like then all of the other books have to compete with that. You know what I'm saying? So there might be some like ulterior motives for giving a book a 4. But if you ask me how was that book and I say it was really good, then it's most likely a 4-star. Like it was good. I liked it. That's a 4-star book. If it's a quick read, if I enjoyed myself while reading it, it's going to get a 4. And overall, like I still enjoy 3-star books, but there was something missing for me. So that's the difference. This, like, I have no complaints, no major improvements. It just, for whatever reason, didn't blow me away. Like, there was just something missing, but it was good, and I enjoyed it. Or, more like, there might not have been something missing, but it wasn't one of the best books I've read this year. It wasn't something that I'm not going to stop talking about and want everybody else to read. That's what the 5s. Those are the 5-star books. Books that I cannot stop talking about, cannot stop thinking about, want to keep reading, like can't put down, read it in a really short amount of time. These books are quick reads, they're engaging, they are powerful, maybe they have a really powerful message, made me feel all the feelings. I want to tell everyone about this book. So if I am recommending a book to somebody, it's most likely a 5-star. For example, Verity. I read Verity, then had my mom read Verity, then had my sister read Verity. Good Girl, Bad Blood. Told my judging friends to read it. Told everybody not even to read the 3rd one because it was so good. Like, I'm Glad My Mom Died, another 5-star one that I read this year. Literally told my mom to read it. Told everybody about it, that I love it so much. The Teacher by Frida McFadden. Gonna be telling everybody I know about this book until I read another 5-star book because it was that good. 5-star books, I want all of my friends to read them so that way I can talk about them with all of my friends. These are the 5-star books. 4-star books are good. I really enjoyed them, but I'm not going to recommend them to you unless it's your genre. 5 stars, I don't care if it's your genre or not, you need to read this book. And that's it. So, a recent 5-star read that I just had was The Teacher by Frida McFadden. Shameless plug for myself. You can actually find that review here in this channel. It is ready to go and ready to upload. And when I say my jaw was on the floor, it practically was. I want everybody and their mother to read this book. And I will definitely be reading more Frida McFadden in the future. And yeah, so that's it. That's my 5-star book review in a nutshell. We'll quickly go over it again. 1 star. I had very little enjoyment reading this book. I only read it because I am a completist, essentially. And I did not enjoy it, but I finished it. So it got a 1 star. 2 stars, I read it and I might have enjoyed it, but most likely it had like one redeeming quality that made it better than a 1 star, but still not great, or I didn't like it. Like, I read it, it might have been a quick read, and so I felt like, you know, I didn't necessarily want to put it down, but I didn't like it. 3 stars, very solid, okay book. I'm going to tell you, it was okay. Yeah, it was good. 4 stars, these are the really good books. Thumbs up, I like them. They're good. No major complaints. Just for whatever reason, didn't blow me out of the park. The 5 stars, those are the ones that are, I reserve 5 stars for the books that completely and utterly destroy me or like destroy me emotionally, have me questioning myself, have me questioning like, what in the world did I just read? Those are the 5-star ones. So I reserve my 5-star ratings for books that I can't stop talking about. And that's why there are very few of them. And that's what I'm discovering, is that not every book can be a 5-star book, and that is okay. And also what I'm discovering is that if you've read a book that I've read, and I gave it a 4-star, you might only think that's a 2-star because everybody likes different things, and that's okay. I'm trying to dabble in a lot of different genres. I'm trying to put a lot of different genres here on the channel to kind of like prove that point that just because something's not your genre, you might really, really enjoy it. For me, that was Fourth Wing. And Verity. Like, Verity was something that I never thought I would like because I wasn't a Colleen Hoover fan, and Verity is still a book that I still remember almost all the details of, and I, like, despite having read like 40 or 50 books since then, I still like vividly recall the end of Verity and can tell you exactly how I felt when I read those last few pages. And The Teacher that I just read by Frida McFadden is going to be that same way. Like, I will not forget about this book for a very long time. And The House Across the Lake is another one. Good Girl Bad Blood is another one. I've read a lot of great books over the past couple of years, and they're not all 5 stars, and that's okay. They're still great books and books that I would recommend to lots of people. And I have read a lot of different genres and have discovered genres that I didn't even know existed, like Christian fiction and like realism, magical realism. Like, these are all genres that I've discovered by doing these videos for you guys. So for that, I want to say thank you, and let me know in the comments your thoughts. Do you agree with all of my rating scales and some of the books that I've dropped? Some of the book names that I've dropped here on this video, let me know your thoughts. If you've read Verity, if you've read The Teacher, if you've read I'm Glad My Mom Died, if you've read The Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, like, let me know your thoughts. I want to hear them. I want to have that conversation with you. And until next time, now you guys know how I rate all my books, so I hope you can use this to rate your own books. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.